Topography, Part 2. The wilderness plays an important role in the Bible, both as a symbol and as an actual place. After the people of Israel escaped from Egypt, they wandered for many years in the wilderness. The wilderness, or desert of the Bible, is not usually an expanse of sand dunes. Even though the Sinai Desert is a land of mountains and valleys, it is considered a desert because it has very little rainfall. North of the Sinai Desert in southern Israel is the Negev. The word Negev literally means dry. The Negev is an elevated plateau with deep canyons. Many of the events in the lives of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob happened in the Negev. Just north of the deserts of the Negev and Arava is an area where enough rain falls to enable animals to graze, but there is not enough rain to grow crops. This is called the wilderness of Judea. This region lies between the central ridge to the west, where Jerusalem and David's hometown of Bethlehem are found. The Dead Sea lies to the east of there. The water of the Dead Sea is also called the Salt Sea, or Sea of the Arava. It is almost 10 times more salty than ocean water. The sea is fed by the Jordan River and a few small streams that are formed from springs. Wherever these streams flow, oases were formed. When King Saul wanted to put David to death, David fled to the Judean wilderness and took refuge at an oasis named En-Gedi. While the wilderness is often a dry and difficult place to live, it appears in Scripture in several positive contexts. As in the case of David, it was frequently a refuge from danger for him. When Hagar fled from Sarah, the wilderness was also a place where God supernaturally supplied her needs. This theme of provision is repeated when Israel was in Sinai and when Elijah fled from Jezebel. Perhaps more than any other location, the wilderness is seen in Scripture as the place where God spoke to people. Jesus' ministry began in the north of the region of Galilee. Much of the Gospel account took place in the region of Galilee. It was around the lake that is known as the Sea of Galilee, or in Hebrew, Kinneret. This lake is over 200 meters below sea level and is surrounded on 3 sides by hills. The Jordan River flows down from its sources in the north near Mount Hermon into this lake. Then the river leaves the lake near its southern end and continues on to the Dead Sea. Almost all of the gospel events near the lake took place in its northern section. All of Jesus' movements on the lake took place between the east and west sides of the lake. When a gospel writer says Jesus got into a boat and went to the other side, it usually means that Jesus was cutting across the northeast or northwest corner of the lake. He never went right across the middle of the lake. Because of the low elevation of Lake Galilee, there is a prevailing wind. The wind is strongest in the middle of the afternoon when it blows over the lake from west to east. This causes large waves to form on the eastern side. The wind usually dies down mid-evening and may even reverse direction during the nighttime hours. Normally, the wind does not blow strongly at night. In the winter months, The Galilee region has storms that come out of the northwest or the north. These storms can be quite violent. In summary, lakes, wilderness areas, and deserts all play important roles in God's interactions with His people. They also provide context to the Bible narrative.